round of Formula 1 2021 at Bahrain International Circuit. Perfection is required and every tenth matters this weekend. Let's check out a good effort from FP2 from Sergio Perez last year versus his best effort in qualifying 3. White on the left for the good, red on the right for the great. First things first, Perez takes a little extra apex speed by rolling off the brakes, the block you can see on the bottom of your screen in the mid-corner of turn 1, stealing a tenth before the lap has even really started. He then facilitates this extra apex speed by using a little bit of extra curb on the exit of turn 2. You can see his left front tyre all the way over the white line in comparison to being up against the white line previously in the weekend. It's those little marginal differences which are going to make all the difference in these slow speed corners, so attention to detail is everything. Flat out on the throttle, which is the line in our data trace, down to turn number 4. Perez is going to get out of the brakes a little bit earlier on his great lap and put the throttle in just a little earlier too. He's going to try the same thing again into turn number 6, leaning hard on the left front tyre and pushing a little wider, making up for this by taking more curb in the left-hand apex of turn number 7. He causes him to lift slightly, but because of the downhill nature of the circuit, he gains generally time. On the way down to turn number 8 on his great lap, Perez brings his braking back slightly to avoid the slight rear locking and hesitation on turning that he suffers on his good lap. He makes the apex sweetly, gets out of the brakes and has a neat and tidy throttle application, picking up 4 tenths total at this point on his previous best. Perez utilises perfect positioning down into turn 9, which you can see in comparison to the rubber marks on the road. He's a little bit wider, which allows him to brake nice and straight and slightly earlier than he did on his previous effort. Rolling off the brakes slightly releases the front tyre to work entirely on turning the car, rather than getting a little bit late and at a little bit of a shallower angle as he is on his good lap. Hard inline throttle without too much drama gathers him a little more time on the exit. As he heads down to turn 11, he's a little neater and tidier on his great lap with the way he releases the throttle pedal and applies the brake, releasing the front to turn nicely and connect perfectly with the apex on his great lap. And again, a nice throttle pickup through the exit of T11. Both Perez's are of course flat out through turn number 12. But on the way into 13, good lap Perez is going to make the slightest error, turning in off the exit curb of turn number 12 and missing the apex slightly of turn number 13, forcing him to get back on the brakes, as you can see from the white braking block at the bottom of your screen. He climbs all over the exit curb of turn number 13, slightly delaying his throttle and giving away still more time to his later qualifying effort. Great lap Perez wins a little more time over his good previous best in the final corner, turning in slightly later to give himself less to do on the eventual apex. He picks up the throttle slightly more sweetly and manages to keep off the curb on the exit. Because of this neat and tidy exit to the corner, he nails the DRS point, which the good lap is slightly late to. 1.071 seconds, that's the difference between the good and the great around Bahrain International Circuit.